Hello again and welcome back to Some Climbing News. But you didn't think you'd get a second show this week. I'm apologizing because I'm a day late. But, you know, Halloween plus also a lot of crazy stuff going on in the climbing world. So, without further ado, let's not waste anyone's time. Just roll the intro. Let's get this show started. Look, that, you see that? That's Rogora on Supercrackinette. I'm not crazy, I fucking knew it. God, okay, I'm happy now. Supercrackinette, all right, it's 9A plus 515A. It's the route that Adamandra flashed. Yeah, I did not stutter. Adamandra flashed that. There's a real rock. I'll link down to it below. It's on Red Bull TV, go watch it. But yeah, thank God I'm not going insane. And thank you to Rogora for confirming. It's like she was listening to me, man. Thank God. Thank you. Thank you. And starting us off today, we got news out of Austria. Friggin' what's his face? Aidan Roberts, and his soft-spoken tone, has also very nonchalantly announced in a totally non-announced way that he's, he's flashed Bugeleisen, which is just, like, I can't do, like, how do you flash Bugeleisen? I mean, I guess the answer is B, Aidan Roberts, but like still, how do you, be Aidan Roberts? Does anyone understand what I'm trying to say or what I'm getting at? I feel like I don't even understand what I'm saying. What is happening? Look, Bugeleisen is very easily one of the greatest problems, like, ever. It was FA'd by Clement Scott back in 2001, given 8B plus V14. It's a freaking, like, 50 plus degrees overhung Crimpapalooza, and it's awesome. Nale, because of course it was Nale, who else would it be, added a sit start in 2014, then upped the grade to 8C V15. Damn it, Nale, come back. That same boulder was then sent by Janja Garnbret 10 years later, in like 30 minutes, which I think is kind of funny. Icing on the cake, she actually did it twice. The second time because she didn't like how the first video she got looked, which is, it's fair. You know, that video was ass. Like, look, if you're gonna record your boulder sends, don't do it from head on, where the camera just cannot capture how overhung something is. It's also the video Red Bull decided to put on their profile for whatever reason. And it's the one that's gotten like 16 million views. So, you know, well done Red Bull. 16 million people saw the video that Janja didn't like. Anyways, speaking of ladies, Katie Lamb is in Austria with Aidan and apparently has also been trying Bugeleisen. So an incoming 8B plus send or possibly another female ascent of the sit? We don't know. I don't know. She just got on a podcast and kind of just super casually mentioned it. And just, you know, to absolutely clarify, Aidan flashed the original 8B plus V14 stand. He did not flash the sit. Actually, I'm not even sure if he did the sit or not, now that I mention it. If you'd like to hear him talk about all of that and a lot more, Careless Climbing Talk podcast, that's not right. Careless Talk Climbing podcast has both grammatically confusing titles and a great episode that features Aidan, Katie, and Ben Wheeler, who's in Europe right now, studying math, of all things. Good for him. Oh, and Sam Pryor, who's the host. Duh. Go have a listen if you haven't done so already. It's actually one of my favorites. Oh, and it looks like Aidan has also been trying Mount Doom, but again, he only really just mentioned that in his podcast episode, so there's really no info I can give you guys about how that's going at the moment. Maybe we'll get a Wedge video. That would be pretty freaking rad, because Wedge does the whole like cinematography thing incredibly well, and that's like a really beautiful, beautiful line. Anyways, and speaking of Janja, okay, actually this is how I'm imagining her conversations with Roman Kranick have been going now that, you know, the outdoor season started.
Leverage, says you. I think I feel a change in the wind, says I. I'll find us a crew. There's bound to be some sailors on this rock crazy as you.
One can only hope. Take what you can.
Give nothing back.
Banger movies. Anyways, another 8B plus V14. That's 2 of them in 2 days. 2 8B plus boulders. Okay, so I've more or less had time to process my feelings towards Janja, and I've decided that hating her is counterproductive to my overall mental health. Both because if I were to start a mindless feud with her like I have with Jules Marchand, people would probably ostracize me because she seems like the nicest person on the planet. Not that Jules doesn't. He seems incredibly nice too. I don't know what I'm doing with that. And because, more importantly, she's on a tear right now and I'm anticipating having to talk about her a lot. Like a lot. So 2 AP plus boulders in 2 days. That's not something any woman has ever done before, actually. And I feel like people really aren't talking about this or aren't as impressed by it as they should for 2 reasons. The first is that I think the number itself, the grade, kind of sounds low to a lot of people. Like AP plus doesn't seem that crazy because it's something we see all the time from men and we just kind of brush it off at this point. Like as far as I'm aware, the 2 dudes with the most AP plus boulder sends at this point are Waniel Dudes and Wimmy Jep, with 99 and 91 ticks respectively. It's a lot. And then there's Andra, who's flashed 6 of them. So Janja sends 2 of them super quickly. Who cares, right? Well, thing is, AP plus sends are still kind of a big deal for women. Katie Lamb and Isabel Faust are the 2 women with the most AP plus V14 ticks at the moment, and they're sitting strong at 9 each, if my sources are still correct. Janja used to have 3 of them under her belt. In 2 days, she's hit 5. That is not normal. Which brings me to my other reason why I think people aren't making as big a deal about this as they should, which is the insane expectations we keep planting on Janja's shoulders. Honestly, maybe that's why she's so freaking strong. Girl's been carrying the entire climbing community's like hopes and dreams and pressure on her back for years. I honestly don't know how the hell she does it. Everyone and their mother is expecting her to send 9A V17 at this point, you know? Like, you know it, she knows it. Will people be satisfied unless she sends? I don't know. Look, she's in Swizzy right now. She's clearly got the endurance she needs. I'm sure Alphane's on her must-try list. I got a feeling she's gonna be trying it. However, I gotta remind people, like, cause God, dude, because like the expectations are so ridiculous. Alphane took Sean Rabatou 25 sessions. It took Will Bosey 13 sessions. It took Simone Lorenzi 20 sessions. It took Jakob freaking Schubert 22 sessions. People are acting like Janja's gonna rock up and send 9A in freaking like 2 days, which she's never even sent 8C+. What I'm saying is, I will be the happiest bastard on the planet if she actually manages to do 9A this season. I'm very much sure that she can and has the capacity to do it. But what we can't let is our expectations for that happening cloud our appreciation for what she's doing now. Which is why I repeat, Rude AP+, Lopio Day Climbers AP+, and Il Trono 8B on her second go in 3 days. This is as good as some of the best 3-day tick lists that I have seen for some of the best male climbers in the world this season. That is actually absolute freaking insanity. You had her 9A sport climbing flash from the other day, which has only ever been done by 2 other people in the history of climbing, may I remind you. And Janja is like systematically demonstrating the world that she is one of the greatest people, not women, people, to ever be a part of this sport. And now that I'm done completely kissing her ass, I have 2 things I'm gonna need to ask her to improve on. Top outs, because those knees are working overtime, and camera angles, because her video of Lopio Day climbers suffers from the exact same issue that her Bugeleisen video does. It's shot from the front, you can't tell how overhung the thing is, and when you can't tell how overhung something is and the holds are as big as the ones on that boulder, everything looks like jugs. The reality is, the holds are huge, but they're all sloping down. Like, picture the friggin' slopers on the Beastmaker 2000. That's what she's grabbing onto. Probably even worse. Here's a video of Stefano Ghisolfi on that same boulder that's shot from a better angle. Go check it out if you want to be able to better put the difficulty of that thing into context. Also, here's a photo of Lucas Meyerhofer on Il Trono, in case someone's curious about what Janja did second go. Video of the boulder on the dude's Instagram is down below, in case you want to see that too. It's very similar to the Bugeleisen, like, surprisingly so. And speaking of monster freaking seasons, Sungsu just hit the old green check on the gram. He's managed to send Floating 8C plus V16 in Japan. Floatin is probably one of the best and most unique 8C plus boulders in the world. The sequence is incredibly creative. It's wild how Duichi Murai put it together for the FA. Never seen that video? Pause this right now. Seriously, go watch that right now. Here's a link. I promise I won't be pissed. I'll be right here when you get back to tell you all about Sungsu doing it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to hold off on that for a second, because there's honestly not all that much to say, because I don't have that much insight to give on Sungsu's send. We'll get a video on Mello eventually, probably. Instead, I want to talk about Duichi's video on Floatin, because I think it demonstrates what I personally believe is like the core idea behind what climbing outdoors is actually all about, which is that we're all just trying to find the absolute easiest way up a certain part of the rock. I mean, you know, duh. What's cool about the video is that the dude starts by trying to go to the crimp on the left. He spends like 6 sessions trying to stick the move and never manages to do so. So what does he do? He goes like, ah, fuck it. I'll try to go to the high one. Then suddenly he realizes he actually can do that, and that it's somehow easier to just go to the top crimp first and then do that weird floating crossy sequence than it is to go to the more natural left crimp first instead. What this demonstrates is that difficulty on rock isn't purposefully manufactured, it's purely coincidental. The problem floating is an 8C plus V16 because we decided that's how hard that rock would be, or because we decided it had to be done with, some weird beta for whatever reason. It's 8C plus V16 because the absolute easiest way up that incredibly blank face for everyone that's sent so far just so happens to be that wild sequence. And that wild sequence also happens to be hard as shit. Look, I see a lot of indoor climbers ask the how do I know what is and isn't on question when they start transitioning to outdoor climbing. And while the answer most people give, which is everything is on, is very much true, I don't think it really answers the kind of core doubt that incites the question in the first place in a super satisfying way. Because it fails to address the fact that what people are actually asking when they question what is and isn't on is basically, how do I make sure that this V3 I'm about to try is actually V3? It comes from the fact that indoors, difficulty is manufactured. The ultimate goal in a gym isn't to find the easiest way to the top of the wall, because if that were the case, you just use all the best holds, regardless of their color, and get to the top, right? You'd rainbow it. So how do I make sure this outdoor V3 I'm about to try is actually V3? Well, the answer to that question is you don't. You're doing it wrong if you're thinking that way. You need to change how you think about climbing. It's not how do I make sure this V3 is V3, it's how do I get to the top of this boulder in the easiest way possible. And then, only after you're on top of that boulder, do you ask yourself, did that actually feel like V3 to me, or did it not? And that's why everything on rock is on. Hopefully that helps some of you. I don't know. Anyways, Lee Sungsu Floatin, that's what I'm supposed to be talking about. Anyone else gotta forget that was what the segment was about? My bad. It was his longest standing project. I'm so sorry I got distracted, but yeah, he started trying it back in 2024 at the end of April with Shauna Rabatou, who, does anyone know if he's sent? He might have, and have just never said anything, that bastard. But yeah, big stuff from Lee Sungsu, and huge congrats to him. I mean, he said he didn't really train for it, he just tried it so much he got better at it, which, yeah, that's a whole other can of worms I don't think I have time for. Okay, dude, and then Samuel Richard, fresh off his Pontas ascent, went straight to Font and put together freaking Soudain Seul 9A V17. I can't believe this is about to be just a tiny section in a giant freaking video. I don't know what the hell happened this week, but good lord, everyone is sending everything. I mean, like, not that I'm complaining, but what is happening? I'll tell you what's happening, actually. 'Tis the season, bitches. All right, let's do this. Samuel is 18. He's a child, and he apparently had been working Soudain Seul since 2023, when he was, what, like 15? That's wild. So in case you don't know, this kid is 169 centimeters tall, which is about 5'5" or whatever the Americans say. And the Big Island is one of those boulders that is notoriously difficult for people who are shorter. Like, there's an old video of Shauna Rabatou, who is pretty short, getting his ass completely goddamn handed to him by this thing. I forget what it's called. I'll link to it here for your viewing pleasure. So, morpho-ish climb done by a dude that's not the tallest person in the world, leaving all the short kings out there with zero excuses, because actually he's the same height as Simon Lorenzi, who did the first ascent, so suck on that! I don't know why I just said it that way. Anyways, look, Sam took 7 sessions to do the Big Island in 2023. Immediately started trying the sit, but couldn't do the lower bits because, well, it's easier if you're taller, and he's not. And then he kept trying it on and off throughout 2024. Then 2025 rolls in, he sends his Pontas faster than expected and realizes he doesn't have shit to do in Mallorca, even though Mallorca's awesome and there's tons of non-climbing stuff to do. But, I guess he's just a kid and a professional athlete, and he's like, reaching the absolute height of the climbing world, so he's probably not super interested in all the stuff normal people would be into, like lying on a beach drinking rum. Pirates of the Caribbean has been on my mind a ton lately. I don't know why. Banger series. Anyways, point is, he went from Mallorca straight to La Forêt, where he devoted his time to piecing the whole thing together. Session 4, he managed to almost send, but he had a heartbreaker moment when he fell off the last move because his heel slipped, which is just absolutely heartbreaking. And it's kind of funny to me for whatever reason. I don't know No, that sucks. At least he sent anyways. But from then, dude freaking went for it. He took 23 more sessions until he finally managed to piece the whole thing together and stand on top of one of the hardest and most famous boulders in the entire freaking world. 27 sessions in total. He used the knee pad book trick that Simone Lorenzi used for the first ascent, which I personally feel is kind of a gray area, but whatever. I'll ask you guys what you think. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Simone Lorenzi, who's also the same height, used a book called Soudain, Seul. That's where the name of the boulder comes from, which he put under his knee pad so he could knee bar because his legs were too small. But back to Samuel, he also apparently customized his shoes. Dude had someone put the toe and heel hooks of the Scarpa Drago on his Instincts and made like a weird Franken shoe kind of situation, which, you know, fair enough. Never thought to do that. I guess it's interesting because the Drago's a little bit softer and the Instinct is harder. Stiffer, not harder. Anyways, same difference. But hey man, honestly, huge congrats to Sam. He's now, I'm pretty sure, the youngest person to climb a 9A V14 boulder, which is amazing to hear. Dude has a wild future ahead of him, man. It is really cool to see. But anyways, Connor Herson, also just absolutely making history. This dude is nuts. We don't talk about him as much. Actually, we don't talk about trad climbers as much as we should, to be super honest. Like, the climbing world is so insanely focused on sport climbing and bouldering, so much of the trad world is completely under the radar, unless it's like one of the wide boys, or I guess Tommy Caldwell doing stuff. Do you guys think it's great-itis? I feel like it's great-itis. Doesn't matter that, you know, only 8 people have freed the nose. Changing corners is only 14A. Why should anyone care, right? Plus also, I guess it doesn't really help that the vast majority of the climbing population doesn't actually trad climb. I mean, I don't either. Shit's scary as fuck. Why would I do that? Anyways, reason I bring up changing corners, which by the way is the crux pitch of the nose on El Cap, in case you didn't know. You guys know El Cap, right? I don't have to explain the significance of this fucking thing. You guys watch Free Solo? Anyways, Connor Herson freed the nose in a day. Most of you are staring completely blankly at the screen right now. I can feel it. Let me explain why this is incredible stuff and why the people who do know why this is incredible stuff just said holy shit under their breath. Okay, so let's go like way back to the 1950s when this dude called Warren Harding became the first person to climb the nose. I'm gonna speed run the history, so don't worry if you already know it. I'll be quick. Anyways, El Cap's like friggin' huge, right? So this dude took 47 days to ascend. Basically, he kept going up and down. Essentially, you know, go up a little bit, fix lines, rappel down, go to like a bar or something and chill for the night. Come back the next day, go a little higher this time. That's incredibly oversimplified, but it's how he did it. That was 1958. 1975, Jim Bridwell, John Long, and Billy Westbay send the nose in a day. Took this dope-ass photo. Thing is, all of those guys, they were aid climbing. Meaning they're not doing what you and I do, where they're using, you know, their fingers and their body to climb the rock, presumably. They're using gear to get themselves up. That's where Lynn comes in. 1993, she became the first person to free the nose. Person, not woman. Free, as in free climb, which means she did the whole thing without aid. Took her 4 days to do, and then she said one of the most famous phrases in climbing, "It goes, boys," rubbing all our sexist faces right in her achievement. Then she came back in 94 and did the whole thing again, but this time in 23 hours. Nose in a day, Naiad. Some of you might recognize that as the name 510 uses on a lot of their shoes for whatever reason. Since then, there have only been 12 people to free the nose. Beth Rodden, Tommy Caldwell, Jorg Verhoeven, Ketja Kurakami, Connor Herson, who did it in 2018, Seb Berg, Babsy Zangirl, and Jakob Larcher, and then Alex Waterhouse and Billy Rydell. Sending the nose in a day, that's only ever been done by Lynn Hill, took 23 hours as I said, by Tommy Caldwell, who did it twice, once in under 12 hours and in 11 hours, and now by Connor Herson, who just sent in 9.5 hours, basically destroying the freed nose speed record, which, I mean, it isn't really a thing, but it's El Cap. Speed records are kind of a thing. I would love for that to be a thing. And on top of that, the dude also got the first free ascent of Triple Direct, which is a route that starts to the left of the nose and ultimately links up with it. Essentially, it's a link up, but you know, it just adds a much harder bottom portion that later comes into the same crux pitches of the nose itself, in which he did like 3 days before his nose in a day send, which is just freaking insanity. Dude climbed El Cap twice in like 3 days, did the nose twice, and the whole thing was so freaking easy for him. The second time he did it in 9.5 hours. I mean, like, what the actual fuck? Well, he didn't do the nose twice. He did, whatever. He was climbing the hardest parts of the nose twice. It's insane how good this dude is at this stuff, man. Like, honestly, it's not normal. Huge congratulations to Connor. I mean, it really is just absolutely freaking amazing how much better he is at all this stuff than literally everybody else in the entire world. It's like what we think the best freaking crack climber is, and then like Connor Herson's all the way like up here. Did I pass the screen? I think I did. Doesn't matter. Congratulations. And yeah, speaking of Bugeleisen, which I did a while ago at this point, but Tamas Zupan just sent the full 8C sit of Bugeleisen, which is pretty rad. Looks like he sent the start 6 years ago. Thought the sit was gonna go down very soon after, and well, you tell me, is 6 years a lot of time, or is it not? It is a lot. 6 years, you know, for a project is wild. Though honestly, he's been trying a bunch of other stuff. I mean, he sent Brain Rot this year as his first 8C+, which is pretty freaking rad. Anyways, cool to see that go down. Must have been really, really awesome to get that thing done after 6 years. It's a personal dream boulder of mine too, that, you know I will never, ever send. Like, as much as I'd love to be able to one day do 8C, nah. But Bugeleisen did it. Like, if I could, you know, like be strong enough for a day, definitely up there on the list of problems I'd send. Actually, wait, that's a good question. Throw some answers for me in the comments if you want. If you could become like the greatest climber to ever live for 24 hours, what problem, route, whatever, would you do? Let me know. Next, let's talk Melina Costanza. Fresh off her podium bronze at the World Championships, she just sent the Mantra, an AP plus V14 boulder problem in Little Cottonwood Canyon, which she managed to do in just 3 sessions. Looks like the training she was doing for the World Championships have really paid off, and honestly, like, I mean, really not much to add here. AP plus in 3 sessions is incredibly fast, and the Mantra looks ridiculously hard. If you want to see a video of it, I'm putting a link to a very good one I found in the description from a guy called Jack Felix. Check it out, it's down there. But yeah, I mean, honestly, massive congratulations to Melina. This is, as far as I'm aware, her 2nd ever AP plus boulder. She's also done Direct North, which is one of those ultra mega classics in Bishop. It's awesome stuff. Next, more from the ladies, is Shauna Coxsey is in Albarracin. I'm Spanish, dude, what am I doing? Albarracin, and she just made a very, very quick work of Moonkey family, which I've been to Albarracin a lot, like a lot, and I'd never heard of this boulder, but it is really freaking cool. It's new. I mean, I love arête climbing. I love squeeze blocks, and this seems like the full package. It was FA'd by Marine Tevenet too, which is actually really, really cool. Not sure if it's seen very many repeats since it was done like a year ago, and if that's the case, then this might actually be the hardest boulder in the world to only have female ascents, which is kind of wild to think about. Really, really cool, actually. I genuinely can't think of any other boulder for which that is a thing. Ladies are absolutely killing it this week, man. All of them are on fire. Awesome stuff to see. But yeah, huge congrats to Shauna on that send. Like I said, the boulder is mega. And then Luca Bana's just gotten the first ascent of a climb he's called the Master, for which he's proposed 9A+/B or 515A/B in Cornalba near Milan. That's in Italy, for anyone that's kind of geographically challenged. Anyways, looks like Luca bolted the line all the way back in 2023 and has been trying it ever since. So pretty big stuff from him. He's done 3 other 9A+ routes, including Supercrackinette, which, may I remind all of you, is a route Laura Rogora posted about. I am not crazy, thank God. And yeah, seems the guy thought it was harder than all the other 9A+s he's done, but maybe not enough for you know, a full step up to get 9B, so slash grade it is. That is literally how it works. What the fuck? And then Diro Fourbet, I guess he's French, so it's more like Diro Fourbet. Whatever. He's just gotten the 2nd ascent of Third Eye 8C V15, which was originally done by Giuliano Cameroni about a year ago or so, and like, I don't know, originally the mellow video I watched with Jewel, like, it didn't really, you know, like, stick up here. I gotta be honest, I'd completely forgotten this boulder even existed, despite it having a really freaking cool dyno in the middle of it. But now that I've seen Diro's send, where you can actually see what the freaking rock looks like, I don't think I'm gonna be forgetting this thing. I mean, just look at those swirls, like, how sick is that? Just classic Bavona rock, right? I think, I don't know. So sick. I don't know how that stuff happens, but like you know, when it does, it's freaking cool. Anyways, big ups to Diro for the send Awesome stuff. And then let's talk about Mejdi Schalck, but not about the boulder he sent. Who cares about that? I need to talk about those shorts, okay? Because, you know, I'm just going to let Danny DeVito do the talking.
Hey, what's up, bitches? I'm a man cheater. You want to do something with this?
Yes, okay. Those shorts. I don't know what it is about them, but Mejdi sent La Force Tranquille with them on, and now he's flashed Casavino AP plus V14 with them on. I think he also sent another 8C, I forget which one it was, with those on, which means the whole climbing world best be on the lookout, because when this kid goes and puts on the spots, shit goes down. And listen, have you seen this video? Like, have you seen his uncut footage of this flash? He completely misses the sloper and still sends. Look.
Allez gros, allez, encore.
What the actual fuck? Look at this comment from Emil. I'm still waiting on my first Emil Abramson comment. That feels like a rite of passage. Doesn't matter. What it's important is what Mehdi says underneath. He says his calf still hurts, which is just a really important reminder to everyone, and mostly for myself, that even though the best of the best often makes stuff look super easy, that doesn't mean they're not trying as hard as they absolutely freaking can. Like, this dude isn't just passively keeping his heel on the rock and letting the rubber and friction just kind of sort of, you know, hold it there all willy-nilly or whatever the hell. He's actively pulling as hard as he can to keep himself on, which is why he stays on. It's not something that usually translates, right? You don't often get like physical evidence of that sort of try hard, especially not in the lower body, which, you know, there's a joke about that with the shorts and everything in there somewhere, I just know it. But anyways, he flashed Casavino AP+, which is incredible. Amazing stuff from him, dude. His hardest flash ever. Super fucking cool to see. And then Triptych Tonik's fully fashionable now. It is, dare I say it, derelict. One more send of the ultra classic 9A 514D Pinch Fest with the super cool limestone tufas in the books, this time by Manon Hily. And I have zero information, like absolutely nothing. She sent, she's happy about it, presumably, but all she said was more info soon, which leaves me with absolutely fuck all else to say. Congratulations to Manon. I wish I could tell you guys how long she projected this thing, how, you know, she did it, for all the info, but I can't, so I won't. And then Michael Piccolruaz with yet another send of his Pontas. I don't, like, what the hell happened? Is there like a group chat I don't know about somewhere, a Discord where pro climbers just get together and decide they're all going to try the same stuff? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm incredibly happy for him and incredibly happy this route is getting all the attention it deserves, but like, my God, repeats are on repeats. It's just, it's crazy. Anyways, not important. Michael sent Pontas. He's Italian, so maybe like Michel, whatever. That Pontas, that is what's important. 8 sessions in 2021, maybe 8 more this year, and apparently something like 50 falls from the big dyno, which is at about 6 meters height. Again, like, that is incredibly high. Like, if you want to give yourself some context, next time you go to the gym, look up at the bouldering wall. The ones that are, you know, set all the way to the top are generally around 4-ish meters or so. The ones that don't get set all the way up, they have like just a little bit of wall left between like the top holds and everything, those are around 5 or maybe a little bit more. So imagine being all the way up there and having the confidence to turn around, jump backwards incredibly far, knowing that if you miss a jug, you're gonna be falling really, really far into the water, not exactly in a straight fashion. And then you go and you do that 50 freaking times, knowing it's probably gonna hurt. That's what Michael Piccolruaz did. If you don't think that that's incredibly cool, I don't know what to tell you. You might be dead inside. Go see a therapist or something. Pontas is fucking incredible. I think it's one of the coolest things to ever be climbed. And yeah, that's it, man. Chris Sharma's a G. No more to really add. It's awesome. But hey, that was some climbing news. Hope you enjoyed this like slightly longer episode. Thanks as always for watching. Please do the YouTube thing. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. I will see you guys on Tuesday as always. But in the meantime, please enjoy the weekend. Go climb some stuff.